Secondo me, la prima pizzeria arriverà a Napoli. Perché Napoli è il regno della pizza, è la patria della pizza, l'arte del pizzaiolo napoletano è a Napoli e quindi questo riconoscimento deve arrivare in questa città. Sarebbe qualcosa di incredibile, un sogno che diventa realtà.
Followed by green market fondue, finished tag, and a beef good rare.
For food, you know, it's Michelin that, oh, you made it, that you're a solid success. And there's this sort of mystique and glamour around Michelin.
It's exciting when I take my wife out to a Michelin Star dinner. We're eating Michelin Star food.
Service is out of this world.
I know that I'm guaranteed to have a good time when I get there.
It's perfect every time.
It just has a greatness above it, and it feels more special for sure.
Yeah.
I kind of come to terms with maybe I won't ever be a Michelin Star chef, and that's fine. And then it happened, and I was like, wow, I care about this way more than I thought I was going to.
They wield such emotional power over chefs and restaurateurs.
They have this way of making someone.
Puts you in a world where you're surrounded by people that have money, people that are looking for luxurious ingredients.
You're standing at the bottom of the mountain looking up at the peak, and that's the peak.
The Michelin Guide is more geared toward fine dining.
They're still mostly awarding white tablecloth French restaurants. They, of course, don't have pizza or barbecue or lots of things people actually eat these days.
Those rules are invisible walls about French food, about Italian food, and what is eligible for this recognition, I think are being blown out of the water.
I think there will be a pizza place that gets a Michelin Star one day.
A prendere l'obiettivo è quello lì di riuscire ad emozionare il tuo commensale.
If you get a star, you are now in the limelight of everybody. And your restaurant may have been half-packed yesterday, and you have a star today, and you have a line out the door and a waiting list for a year.
So yeah, the Michelin Guide is a very powerful thing.
La parte più importante di tutte è emozionare le persone. Emotion is really important.
Michelin stars for your pizza place or whatnot could come with giant lines, could come with people booking vacations around it. And now, simply being an A restaurant is not good enough. You better be an A+ restaurant. You better be the best pizza ever. Be careful what you ask for.
There are absolutely masters of pizza. Without a doubt.
Io sono Ciro Oliva, pizzaiolo di Concettina e Tre Santi, napoletano del quartiere di Sanita e che produce buonissime pizze. Buongiorno. Salve.
When I met Ciro,
Buongiorno.
I remember
Io tu sta maglietta vatten?
thinking, this guy is a baby. He's 22 years old. He had braces. He's so smiley.
Tonga la mano sotto. Ti stai stangando?
And I remember he gave me his business card, and on it there's a little drawing of him smiling with the braces. And I just held it up and I looked at him. And I just remember being like, this is amazing. Who is this guy? How is he this famous pizza guy?
ho sempre avuto la voglia di fare questo mestiere. Quello che ho sempre voluto fare, non il calciatore, non il carabiniere, non l'avvocato, ma sempre il pizzaiolo. Oh, hey, cabrón!
Allora, questa pizzeria l'ha aperta mia nonna nel 1951.
The historic apartment the my great grandmother. Concettina, che era la mia bisnonna.
Poi è cominciato mio zio e mio padre. E poi ho cominciato io con i miei fratelli.
Mio padre, per noi importante, di Concettina.
Che mio figlio ha cominciato questo lavoro a 10 anni.
Welcome in Concettina Tre Santi. Ero piccolo, basso, quindi non arrivavo neanche all'altezza del forno. Mi alzavo sulle punte e andavo a cuocere questa pizza. E qualche pizza bruciata, mio padre si arrabbiava, si incazzava: no, togli le mani dal forno. E io invece con tutti i giorni, perché veramente pure quella pizza bruciata a me portava emozione. Ma il ricordo della cottura è ancora oggi, i sentori e i profumi della legna mi ricordano la mia infanzia.
Allora lui lo faceva per tutto l'amore.
Con quei profumi, con quegli odori che sono nato con quella pizza, ho voluto cambiarla nel migliore dei modi. Allora, the cooking this pizza with in the oven, in the ruotino, the historic pizza in Naples, with the tomato sauce and the tomato fresh.
Very interesting, Ciro Oliva.
With the anchovies from in
Because it's the only one to eat in the restaurant with the Michelin Stars.
Eat with hands because a different taste. Solo per visitare questi locali o per visitare questo locale che ha ricevuto una stella Michelin. Lì si trasmette l'arte di questo cibo popolare.
He sees all the small things about wine, about the ingredients. And he put it in his pizzeria.
E questo è forza, è maestria, è eleganza. E noi vogliamo riuscire a trasferire emozioni attraverso questo prodotto molto semplice sulle tavole dei nostri clienti. La Michelin ancora non ha deciso di mettere le stelle alla pizza.
I remember when I ate at Concettina at Tre Santi for the first time. The pizza was just everything that typical American pizza is not. And so for an American to go and eat that is a slap in the face to everything you thought was real. Wow, it's like if you've only seen the sky with the ambient light of New York City, then you go into the woods for the first time and you look up, you're like, you're telling me this was all here the whole time?
Il riconoscimento più alto per una pizzeria è ricevere la stella Michelin. Attraverso grande materia prima, attraverso la tradizione, attraverso la famiglia, attraverso l'innovazione, da un semplice prodotto che nasce con acqua, sale, farina e lievito, dalla mia bisnonna ad oggi. Sì, potrebbe arrivare da noi la stella Michelin, però lasciamo decidere loro.
We all know that feeling. We're in a town where we don't know where we are, and we want to get a bite to eat. And where do we go?
Is there a bakery meeting tomorrow?
And so you want to rely either on a blog or somebody's recommendation. And I think Michelin is a good source of a recommendation because we know there are certain standards that they uphold themselves to.
You know, we're a fine dining restaurant that was awarded 1 Michelin star. For Benno Restaurant, the star has been an incredible thing. It's a tremendous honor. Before you know it, it's busy, and the caviar.
You know, people in the U.S. don't really understand what Michelin is still.
You know, that's on us.
My parents who live in Oklahoma City have no fucking idea what Michelin is.
Squid from the Skiji market.
There's no Michelin guide to Oklahoma City, and there's no Michelin guide to every other city in America except for, what, 4?
9 times out of 10, people laugh when I say, like, oh, it started out as a guide for tires, and it's about driving distance and great food.
Quite literally, Michelin is saying that we've given this restaurant a star, that means it's worth you going to. If it's 2 stars, it's like worth you going to a pretty solid distance. And if it's 3 stars, it's like, OMG, drive all the way.
You know, as you get higher in elevation, you know, 2 and 3 stars, china, glassware, silver, flowers, staff uniforms, cuisine. You know, all of those things get more refined and more elegant and more luxurious and more expensive.
Every Michelin 3-star restaurant costs a week's salary. Is impossible to get into. There's not, you know, a Michelin restaurant that, you know, costs $5, and there never will be, of course.
It was a guidebook founded in 1900 by 2 founders of the Michelin Tire Company. And it was founded as simply a practical guide for those who are taking road trips. And of course, this was to encourage the new sort of motoring class, which were the upper crust and sort of the emerging middle class, to go places. Not because they thought that they all needed vacations, but because they really wanted them to go places because they wanted them to burn more rubber and sell more of their own tires.
Twice the mileage from Michelin tires.
And it is weird and random, but since 1900, it's worked.
The Michelin Man and you know, his mascot, his presence there, he's meant to be a man made of rings of tires. And he's colored white. He looks more like the Marshmallow Man rather than, you know, tire guy, because tires once upon a time were white, originally, before we figured out the modern processes of rubber.
There are 2 ways to look at it. It's tires or food.
And that connection is still very much there, that it's the Michelin company that makes tires, and they also happen to make this guidebook about restaurants and hotels.
I don't think they set out to dream that they'd be this elite guide to making or breaking a restaurant.
Yeah, she's going to be here we just need to be back here at 4:30. Forbes, Wall Street Journal, New York Times, Eater, I mean, the list goes on. And we were mentioned in all of that. You know, that kind of exposure, that kind of advertising is priceless. You can't buy it.
If I talk with my students here who are going to be, hopefully, top-ranking chefs in the United States or the world, and you ask them about Michelin, it still very much holds, if not this nostalgic, romantic idea, it is the industry standard, for good or bad. And that might be contested, but I don't see anything that has risen to the prominence of Michelin today, still.
It's evolved into this phenomenon in sort of this haute cuisine world where it's since become this thing that people have looked to, not as a practical guide, but as a sort of recognition that you've made it.
Lemon pie. I never wanted to cook for the Michelin Guide. Oh, yeah, dude. You know what I mean? I didn't want to do anything that was kind of strange for us or didn't fit kind of our vibe.
I've never seen a fish like this. It's amazing.
You're going to do the trial?
Yeah, I'm going to do the trial.
And then all of a sudden I got the call and we got a star, and it was like completely caught me off guard. And in the best way possible.
Finn is gonna do a secondary pick, or you can bring it up here. This one's.
I mean, I think if you're chasing a Michelin star, I think it can be frustrating to look at the guide. It's kind of hard to put your finger on what exactly it is that they're looking for.
Barnstable. I like the Barnstable.
But I think at the end of the day, important things are consistency, attention to detail, you know, the level of ingredients that you're using, how you're preparing the food. I think you have to have a great front of house staff. The food has to be creative. The menu has to change on a seasonal level. All those little details I think they like to focus on. I think there's a lot of people who feel like they're worthy of it, but they don't understand why they're not in there and someone else may be. It's very confusing.
So, pretzel for the bread course.
It's like you can't get in touch with these people and say like, hey, what do you think we could do better? What wasn't working? What is working?
You make it with the jam.
There's very little transparency about how those decisions are made.
I think in part because of the fact that Michelin uses anonymous inspectors.
Food critics are, you know, recognizable, where Michelin inspectors, I just don't know who they are.
They were kind of like this ghost that wanders around. And it's almost like you're living a second identity.
What would it be like to have one of these really highly coveted, secretive jobs? It was almost like being a spy in a way. You know, like how does one become one of these almost godlike creatures who have the ability to determine a restaurant's fate and their business?
I think mystery is often quite alluring.
The aura of the Michelin inspector.
I have heard stories of like Michelin inspectors dropping a napkin and seeing how long somebody will take to come by and pick it up.
It's a single diner.
Solo dining at high-end restaurants happens, but I'd say it's not the norm. So many high-end restaurants, if there's a solo diner, especially a solo European diner, will just treat that diner as a VIP.
We kind of try to treat everybody like a VIP here and just expect that anybody could be anybody.
But I think what sort of makes everybody really curious is just who the reviewers are, because it feels like this is so personality driven, right? That maybe there is no rubric. Maybe, you know, it's just people making it up on their head. Maybe it's all based off of who seems to be the most appreciative of a particular chef. Maybe they're buddies. We don't know. You know, there's all these myths and ideas and imagination swirling around.
You know, I haven't heard of any successful gambits that have 100% got Michelin inspectors in the door besides being good and known and written about.
You're just kind of left guessing, and I think that's part of what feeds into the glamour is that, you know, anybody could be a Michelin inspector in the dining room, and we don't know who's there critiquing and judging and deciding what's good taste.
It almost becomes this mysterious, compelling, magical process, which seems incredibly frustrating from the side of chefs and restaurateurs, but I think it only adds to the cachet of the Michelin Guide.
There always has to be a little mystery. Otherwise, chefs and restaurant owners would just check the boxes. It kind of keeps chefs on their toes and keeps them more daring, and they can still think outside the box, do something really creative and interesting with the hope that maybe one day like they'll get recognized for it.
I'm Antonio. I'm one of the members of a cooperative called La Paranza. It means in Neapolitan, group of friends. I'm one of the managers of these catacombs in Napoli. All the catacombs in Napoli are located in a neighborhood called Rione Sanita. which is one of the most historic neighborhoods of Napoli.
Noi arriviamo da un quartiere difficile di Napoli, come il quartiere di Sanita, dove questa pizzeria nasce nel 1951 dalla mia bisnonna.
This is the newest part of the catacombs, 6th century AD. We are trying to improve the quality of life in this neighborhood of Naples, which is amazing, but unfortunately full of socio-economic problems. The neighborhood is extremely poor, and there were no many chances for young people until a few years ago.
Come il quartiere di una sanità. E lì la mia anima, il mio polmone, la mia pianta, dove sono riuscito a costruire negli anni e dove voglio riuscire a portarla ancora di più. In here, three important saint outside Pizzeria Concettina, free saint. Concettina, perché la mia bisnonna è Tre Santi, che l'abbiamo all'esterno della pizzeria, che sono San Vincenzo, Sant'Alfonso e Sant'Anna. The name is important for family, is important for people in this square.
We decided to be here because we were born in this neighborhood. So we decided to do something in Napoli, in our neighborhood, and thanks to the great cultural heritage we have, we decided to build a better future. Which is amazing. So, all of them are amazing, but... and we can do it in different ways. Yeah, the one the school groups love. This one.
Un sistema culturale come le catacombe di San Gennaro.
And this is like a family picture. So father, mother, and
come le varie chiese all'interno di questo quartiere e come attraverso i vari commercianti, quindi i vari negozi di questo popolo, dobbiamo riuscire a portare la parte buona e positiva della nostra città e dei nostri quartieri popolari.
So, in 2017, Pizza Napolitana, Neapolitan pizza, achieved UNESCO World Heritage status, which my introduction to UNESCO was in traveling. If there was a UNESCO World Heritage site, that meant that this is a place that's important to the human race and you need to go check it out. And when I heard that pizza achieved this status as a UNESCO recognized piece of cultural heritage, then that's a really big deal.
Siamo riusciti a portare a Napoli questo grande obiettivo, riconosciuto dall'UNESCO. Abbiamo festeggiato per 2 o 3 giorni qui a Napoli. È stata veramente un'emozione per me, tanto per il nostro mestiere, ma proprio per la nostra città di Napoli.
Many people are now discovering what is happening in this neighborhood.
Devono ringraziare che sta crescendo giorno dopo giorno. Ci sono tante cose che stiamo facendo insieme, a crescere insieme.
Essendo uniti, riusciamo a portare forza e identità alla nostra città.
Esce il buono e il male, però facciamo vincere il bene. Siamo un bel faro qui in mezzo, grazie a Dio.
And thanks to this new flow of tourists to the neighborhood, and thanks to these amazing attractions, we are trying to call visitors from Napoli and abroad to this neighborhood to let them discover the amazing history of this place.
E oggi, in grande riscatto, vogliamo riuscire a portare clienti, persone in tutto il mondo qui a Napoli.
The neighborhood is growing, and many of them were able also to specialize themselves in other activities like restaurants, souvenir shops, pizzerias.
I think if you want to check the best pizzeria, you have to check before other pizzas, margherita and marinara. Okay? They are the first step of the good pizzeria.
The pizza margherita is the baseline for all pizza today. It's crushed tomato, cheese, and basil.
Oh, che cool.
The pizza margherita has a backstory. It's the story that the typical television program about pizza in Naples will tell you, or the tour guide who maybe read a little pamphlet will tell you, which is that Queen Margherita of Savoy, the second queen of a unified Italy, visits Naples in the late 19th century, is fed pizza because it is the food of the poor and it's her way of associating with the poor. And the pizza that was made for her is the white mozzarella, the red tomato, and the green basil, the colors of the Italian flag. And then the story is that the pizza maker made this for her, she loved it, he named it after her, and then here we are. There are some holes in that plot. As it turns out, that pizza existed before she was queen. But one way or another, there's a pizza called the Pizza Margherita around the same time that there was a queen with the same name. It's just that before that, it probably went under the name the pizza with tomato and mozzarella.
Qui abitate voi stesso qui, giusto?
Sì, abitano qua, l'azienda è familiare.
Quindi avete casa e apoteca, avete?
È a conduzione familiare.
Quante cose ci mettono? Ciao! Ok. Cazzo, ma siamo proprio in campagna allora. Mamma mia, quanto è bello sto odore, mamma mia.
I do think that
Ti giuro, è incredibile, mamma mia, si sta proprio bene.
it is not a surprise that there aren't any Michelin-starred pizzerias. But I think a lot of that has to do with the perception of pizza as a fast food and as a lower class food.
Allora, in effetti il caseificio nasce per la prima volta nel 1988.
The way that most of the world eats pizza is unsophisticated, but there are variations of it that are definitely sophisticated and deeper and require a pretty serious knowledge base.
Che fin quando la mozzarella è artigianale, quindi viene filata a mano, passa nelle mani di chi la fa, si può controllare la consistenza, la bontà e l'amore che ci mettiamo dentro.
Oh my god, man. È ancora calda questa mozzarella per essere mangiata ed ha un sapore già incredibile. Consistenza perfetta, è fatta con una lavorazione direttamente da loro con del latte locale qui di Salerno ed è buonissima. Com'è, Benny?
Michelin is a long and storied guide. And, you know, as the world has changed, right, Michelin's had to change with it. French food still has, you know, this stronghold in the imagination of what is fine dining and what's sort of associated with good and sophisticated taste. But what we've got here are, you know, people challenging that idea, as well as economic pressures to say, hey, maybe we should be a little bit more broad-minded because if we want to stay relevant, we need to recognize that this is not the only option on the table.
Things that a quintessential star restaurant has and a quintessential excellent pizzeria would have include a commitment to quality, a dedication to sourcing the best ingredients, dedication to craft, expertise. Both kitchens would be working with the best ingredients they can get and applying real technique to them.
Nel nostro impasto abbiamo solo 4 ingredienti: acqua, sale, farina e lievito. 4 semplici elementi che riescono a fare miracoli.
With pizza, it's a pair of hands that open a dough from a ball into a skin, top it, and then bake it. And every step of that process is truly significant.
You know, consistency obviously is very, very important in restaurants. Consistency is very, very important to Michelin.
Consistency is so difficult with pizza. If you stretch the dough incorrectly, and it's not light and tender and airy, if you top it with too much intensity or aggression, if you bake it unevenly and without the movements within the oven that make sense and are proper, then you get burnt bottom, dense crust, and flattened toppings. A huge amount of skill.
The way you cook is important, no? But when you have the quality of products, you have the first step. And the first step is very important.
Nostra identità sono i sapori, gli ingredienti del nostro territorio e del nostro Mediterraneo. Lì è la nostra vera forza, il territorio. Oh, Gaia, ci parla pure malamente, hai visto? Ho parlato bene.
You eat not just a pizza. You eat the best products in that part, in that country. You eat a country in that moment, okay?
Incredibile. Qua è proprio, capire, un'opera d'arte. Beh, verissimo.
In the past, it was kind of like, hey, let's get the most exclusive ingredients we could from around the world and kind of like bring in this Dover sole from England and like this fish from Tsukiji Market in Japan, or amazing Spanish mackerel like swimming its way up the Atlantic coast.
Metto ogni due.
What's changed for your restaurants high and low and restaurants of different socioeconomic backgrounds is that the words and the vocabulary that used to be uncommon are now front and center. Terms like farm to table, right? Saying what farm it's from, which farmers were involved, naming that your wines are local and celebrating the local environment, talking about the sourcing and sustainability of the items you're serving, how the animals are raised.
Mamma mia.
Those used to be private conversations, and now they're front and center and presented to the customer, in part because the customer wants to know these things and is asking these questions.
Il minimo produttore della mozzarella, dal piccolissimo produttore nella zona di San Marzano per i nostri pomodori, al grande olio del Cilento.
They started realizing and building relationships with people closer to them, and they were able to get access to even higher quality ingredients. Even though they maybe weren't the luxury ingredients most people were accustomed to, or that was the norm for kind of like haute cuisine, they were finding ways to make local ingredients luxurious. And I think that circles back to the farm-to-table movement as well, and just finding amazing produce and people understanding that, like, wow, vegetables can be equally as amazing if you're treating them properly and using them in different ways.
Cambiare un prodotto, riuscire a formare, a far mangiare bene anche i tuoi clienti. L'anno scorso siamo riusciti ad ottenere miglior cantina d'Italia, quindi è stato un grande successo per me, la mia sala, i miei ragazzi e Emanuele.
È la cantina di Concettina Tre Santi, è nato tutto da più o meno un anno e mezzo, però i risultati subito sono arrivati. Anche noi, io come Ciro, puntiamo sui prodotti del territorio. Come Ciro punta sui prodotti per la pizza del territorio, io punto comunque su vini campani, vini del territorio. Birra continua lieviti, la pizza pure. Va a finire che dopo le 2 o 3 portate uno già si sente gonfio. E noi piano piano stiamo cercando di far cambiare quest'idea che sulla pizza va solo la birra. Allora abbiamo puntato anche sul vino, nonostante siamo in una zona comunque difficile di Napoli, però nonostante questo i risultati si fanno vedere.
Che uno è senza glutine, i panini stanno nascendo? In 8 anni sono riuscito a crescere in maturità, in prodotto, in servizio e anche come riuscire ad esporre al meglio la mia pizza. 3, 2, 1, ok? Okay, the first.
Pizza is one of those things that even when I tell people what I do for a living, they sort of laugh and say, oh, how'd you make that up? There's confusion. People don't look at it as if it's something that has cultural value. With the UNESCO recognition, I think that's changing a little bit.
The places that serve pizza tend not to have the Michelin trappings.
Di riuscire a portare da un bicchiere di plastica ad un bicchiere di vetro, qualcosa che cambia totalmente l'immagine della pizza napoletana.
The clientele that will be brought in by a Michelin Star are not the typical pizzeria clientele.
Dal tovagliolo di carta a un tovagliolo.
Pizzerias tend to be pretty to the point.
Da una forchetta e un coltello di plastica a finire una forchetta e coltello d'acciaio. Da una maglietta bianca ad una maglietta più costruita.
If there is one out there with a tasting menu.
The tablecloths, the service.
È lì dove cambia l'effetto della luce.
Unique ingredients or whatnot.
E mio padre mi diceva, tu sei pazzo. L'olio costa tanto. Il pomodoro non lo puoi comprare, costa tantissimo.
Or something interesting, an incredible wine program.
Non puoi inserire il vino all'interno di una pizzeria.
The more than just pizza menus.
Non puoi mettere lo champagne all'interno di un locale.
The things we know Michelin likes.
Pazzo. Tu sei pazzo.
I do think more pizzerias would be in the running for getting that Michelin accolade.
Yeah, maybe there are some pizza places on planet Earth that deserve it.
Buongiorno ragazzi. A posto.
I wouldn't go so far as to call it a paradigm shift,
Questa quanto è per dopodomani?
but I would say Michelin is taking steps to diversify and expand its view.
You know, some of the places that are getting these Michelin accolades and it's causing people to drop their jaws are street food restaurants or very casual eateries that have been vaulted up to this prestige that not that long ago people would have brushed their nose at and said, oh no, that's not high-end food.
You're seeing, food carts getting Michelin stars, noodle joints getting Michelin stars.
Sono stato in Thailandia a mangiare da che è uno street food che ha una stella Michelin, fa un omelette di granchio che è buonissima.
Even a pizza place is concerned. Like I was just in Japan in Tokyo and had some of the most incredible pizza I've ever had in my life. They're doing 2 pizzas a night, a margherita and a marinara. And I'm like, I don't see why that place shouldn't have a Michelin star.
And so maybe there will be a Michelin pizza restaurant soon because we're a little less narrow-minded about it and a little bit less snobby about what counts as really fine food.
I don't think there's anything inherent about pizza as a food that's not worthy of deep critical reflection from the arbiters of the dining world.
I think it's a tough one. As much as I would love to see a pizzeria get a star, and I think that would be so great for pizza and it would be so great for Michelin, I think that it's a tough one. It's a tough nut to crack.
How much pizza do you have in your life?
Personally, I eat about 15 slices per week.
Every week?
I keep track of my pizza intake, so my goal is to keep it at or below 15 slices per week. And if I go over that limit, then I subtract double that I've gone over as a penalty for the next week. So I always try to ride right along that 12 to 15. So it usually ends up being somewhere around 700 per year. If you use that number, if I've had 7,000 slices in the past 10 years, I'm sure I've had 30,000 slices in my life.
I like the underside of the crust. I was hoping you wouldn't say.
Bad pizza is bad for you. So when I meet somebody on a New York pizza tour and they say, how do you eat that much pizza and you're not obese? And I say, well, first of all, I eat good pizza.
Scott's the man. Scott is the man.
Bad pizza's bad for you. Good pizza's good for you.
Che gli dico? Mica vi posso dire che la pizza americana è una merda.
Here comes the moon, held by my love.
A lot of people have tried to do pizza festivals in New York, and they failed for whatever reason.
A New York mi hanno chiamato con la partecipazione di lì nel Bronx a fare un evento.
Not near public transportation. It's a difficult thing for people to get to. I didn't know if anybody would care. I didn't know if anybody would see and taste a Neapolitan pizza and really think much of it being so New Yorky, especially in the Bronx. And then, day one, thousands of people show up.
We have some opera singers all the way from Modena, Italy.
It's a pleasure to be here more than ever. Oggi il Bronx è italiano.
There are lots of different pizza styles.
Pizza, what can we say about pizza?
There's the New York slice, there's classic New York coal oven, there's Neapolitan, there's Sicilian, New Haven style, there's deep dish from Chicago, Midwestern tavern style, California style pizza. The list seems to be getting bigger and bigger every year. The latest one is Detroit style is now a thing. It wasn't a thing that anybody knew about 5 years ago. Now it's a thing.
La pizza americana, la pizza napoletana. Due stili di pizza completamente differenti. Hey, you make a pizza with me. You make a pizza with me, yes. Yes, yes. Come on. Okay, all right?
It's almost surprising to me that I have to keep telling people that New York didn't invent pizza. New York invented New York pizza. But pizza from southern Italy, that's the origin point. And to understand how it should be eaten or how it should taste, you have to go back to that origin point.
Let's do it. Okay, you touch. You touch a pizza?
A pizza?
Yes. Okay, it's the large. It's okay? Okay, it's very, very children, okay?
Okay.
It's okay, the position here? Un prodotto che è differente, quindi una pizza in teglia, cotta nel forno elettrico, dove noi andiamo a cuocerla in un forno a legna, con gusto, con sapore, con identità. Mezzo salame? Yes, in the crust.
There was never a moment that pizza was definitively invented. It was just flowed out of bakeries. The theory is that somewhere around the 16th, 17th century, bakers in southern Italy were using topped, flattened doughs as a way to cool down the floors of their overheated brick ovens. And a lot of people would throw in old dough, flatten out the old dough, weigh it down with something so that the weight of the dough would cover the floor of the oven and absorb excess heat. So really it was just a tool, a way to get rid of scraps.
Pizza is very important in our culture because it's democratic food.
If you're close to the source and ingredients don't have to be shipped too much, they're less expensive.
You can buy a pizza with €5, more or less $6.
Meanwhile, in New York, people pay $16, $17 for a margarita pizza and don't flinch because it's special, it's different.
Can you close it?
I can't
close the glass, yes?
I can't.
Oh my God, the great pizzaiolo in America, guys! Un applauso!
Neapolitan pizza is the best in the world for me. They have the best products inside, best mozzarella, best tomato, best everything.
Tomato.
Oh, Lord Jesus. Okay.
I think, look,
Center, yes.
when you grow up in Naples and that's part of your life and that becomes the definition of pizza.
The mozzarella.
And then you go anywhere else
Oh, wow.
and eat anything different and it doesn't fit your definition, so it's not as good.
Now what?
Yes.
It takes a lot of effort to grow your definition.
Oh my God, this is finished. It's okay, put inside in the oven. Queste due pizze differenti che poi lasciamo ai nostri clienti decidere qual è mangiare una buona pizza. Quindi la decisione la diamo a loro. Oh, and one for me, one for me.
Look, that's why pizza to a Neapolitan means one thing, but to an American, it's a broad spectrum. And that's why Neapolitan pizza is working in America. American pizza is not working in Naples.
And we're very grateful to be here with the mayor of the city of New York. This is the highest imaginable sign of friendship, of partnership between Italy and New York and the pizza.
I think the goal of the event was to create a pizza-centric event and really to kind of set a stake in the ground about Naples and New York being this partnership that is not Naples versus New York. A few years ago, you started to see these thing where they kind of came together and one city realizes the value of the other. It's wild.
This is a beautiful moment for Arthur Avenue, for the Bronx, for the whole city. To have here some of the greatest pizza chefs in all of New York City and all the world. They are pizza artisans. They do something amazing. And for everyone who appreciates Italian heritage, especially all of us who are honored to be Italian American, let's celebrate our heritage.
I think the Neapolitans had a blast in the Bronx. I think it was really cool for them to make pizza and feed pizza to people who were really introduced to them for the first time. This is a thing that they don't have to tell you why they're a big rock star of pizza. They're serving you the food. Ciro's singing to people and making a whole show of it, and that's awesome. But the food is what spoke the most to the people.
Welcome.
Nice job. Yes. You guys really got to try everything. All right, please save room for dessert. Good to see you later.
Thank you.
You know, I think on a scale of 1 to 10, like 1 being, you know, very relaxed, easygoing, to 10 being militaristic.
Order into the PDR. PDR. It's going to be 8.
You know, we're probably 7 to 8. We try to keep it light and fun here, but there has to be discipline.
come in feeling a little tired, maybe I won't do this. And you know Chef Beno's gonna be here. You do it, you make sure it's right.
Including the stuff from yesterday?
We're selling food to people that they're gonna put into their bodies. That's a pretty big responsibility. Our star is still shiny and brand new, and we want to keep it that way.
Now, it's harder to maintain a Michelin star than to receive a Michelin star.
You can never stop.
I once read LeBron James pays $1.5 million a year for training. You'd say, why does LeBron James need training? Well, when you get to the top, you almost feel a need to spend even more money on what will keep you at the top.
And so when you're given the star, now the clock starts ticking on maintaining it.
You have to be on it every day. Sit down with your partners and budget money for next year to grow the wine list. Or we want to buy this type of glassware because we think it's going to enhance the guest experience.
Got better and better plateware, better glassware, started working with a local ceramicist, giving guests like a better and better experience.
Making that commitment, taking that risk.
We expect more out of them, so if their new restaurant's a B+, they get eviscerated in a way that a nobody chef wouldn't. They know that their name's getting butts in the seats, but it's also meaning they have to perform at a really high level at all times.
It's very difficult. I mean, it's like managing a championship team every single year.
I mean, after getting the star, I definitely started to think about, oh God, is this like a Michelin-worthy dish? What do we have to do to keep this now? What did they like? What didn't they like? What was working? What kind of clicked that made them take notice of us and give us this award?
They feel tremendous pressure not to fall in their star count.
The thought does cross your mind about, like, well, what if we lose it? Because it happens, for sure. Places get them for a year, lose them the next year.
Why wouldn't you do it?
I did lose one at Lincoln. You know, we had one star at Lincoln, and then a couple years down the road, that star was taken away, and it was devastating.
You know, the media now covers everything, so they're going to write about you losing the star. Everyone's going to know.
The press goes both ways, right?
Now that we have it, I would be pretty kind of bummed to lose it. Mostly because you don't know why. Like, that's the frustrating part. It's like you can't get in touch with these people and say, like, hey, what did we do wrong?
Aujourd'hui, le guide Michelin, c'est une équipe de plus de 15 nationalités d'inspecteurs présents dans plus de 34 pays du monde. Donc là, l'anonymat et le mystère qui va avec n'a pas pour objectif de créer un buzz. C'est vraiment une nécessité pour que le guide Michelin puisse travailler de façon la plus pertinente possible pour la clientèle. L'anonymat est absolument nécessaire pour que nos inspecteurs vivent la même expérience que les clients pour pouvoir faire des recommandations qui soient destinées à ces clients.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Stéphane Nicolas. Je suis responsable du patrimoine historique de Michelin ici à Clermont-Ferrand et je suis très heureux de vous recevoir aujourd'hui. Et on a deux frères, André et Édouard Michelin, qui ont une petite manufacture d'objets en caoutchouc. Et ils vont s'intéresser à un objet nouveau à l'époque, qui est le pneumatique. Et en 1891, ils vont produire leur premier pneu. Donc tout à fait au tournant du XXe siècle, il n'existe rien pour guider les automobilistes qui veulent partir en voyage. Et donc Michelin a l'idée de faire un petit livre et ça va donner naissance en 1900 à la toute première édition du guide Michelin. Et le but de cet ouvrage, c'était de donner des informations utiles à l'automobiliste.
Aujourd'hui, la connexion entre Michelin, la mobilité routière et les recommandations de restaurants fait toujours pleinement sens. L'objectif initial, c'était de donner aux gens qui voyagent une raison pour voyager, en leur indiquant les meilleures tables.
Et c'est l'époque où les frères Michelin vont aussi créer ce personnage qui va devenir la mascotte de la marque, qu'on surnomme Bibendum. À l'époque, le slogan de Michelin, c'est le pneu boit l'obstacle. On va mettre dans la main du personnage une coupe de champagne avec des tessons de bouteilles, des clous, tous les obstacles qu'on pouvait trouver sur la route de l'époque. Et le personnage, fièrement, tient cette coupe à la main et dit « Nunc est bibendum ». En latin, ça veut dire « c'est le moment de boire » parce que le pneu Michelin boit l'obstacle. Et donc ce personnage va très vite prendre le surnom en France de Bibendum et ailleurs on le surnomme le bonhomme Michelin ou the Michelin Man.
Et de façon à assurer la qualité et l'équité de nos décisions, donc non seulement les inspecteurs sont des professionnels avec une réelle expérience sur les terrains, toutes les décisions du guide Michelin sont des décisions collégiales, c'est-à-dire que ce n'est jamais basé sur un seul essai table réalisé par un inspecteur, mais sur plusieurs inspecteurs différents qui sont venus dans le restaurant à des moments différents et qui se rassemblent pour prendre la meilleure décision pour faire la recommandation pour le client. Alors, ce qui est important de comprendre, c'est que en fait, les étoiles peuvent être attribuées dans tous les types de cuisine. Aujourd'hui, il y a des dizaines et des dizaines de types de cuisine différents représentés dans le guide Michelin, que ce soit de la cuisine italienne, française, de la cuisine américaine ou de la cuisine chinoise ou japonaise. Et la principale qualité d'un inspecteur, mais derrière, ce qui les anime, c'est la volonté de reconnaître les talents, de les faire, de partager auprès du grand public ces talents, ces meilleures tables, et aussi en fait de révéler le patrimoine culinaire des destinations. Les restaurants, sur la base de 5 critères, les produits, la maîtrise des techniques de cuisson, l'harmonie des saveurs, la personnalité du chef qui s'exprime dans l'assiette, et aussi la régularité dans le temps. Mais au final, les inspecteurs vont se rendre sur le terrain. Ils vont parcourir aussi les rues et puis voir ce qui s'y passe, pousser toutes les portes de façon à s'assurer qu'on ne laisse aucun galet non retourné. Vous savez, nos inspecteurs ont coutume de dire que la plus belle expérience de table, c'est celle qu'ils n'ont pas encore vécue. Voire de trouver un restaurant qu'il est possible de distinguer avec 1, 2 ou 3 étoiles.
You know, you worked your entire career maybe to get this star.
You know, we all worked 14, 15, 16-hour days for many, many years. And so when you look back at it, you see your kids have grown up. You didn't get to do everything that you wanted. And I think as you get older, you start saying, well, I want to do these things. This is my bucket list. So what's more important? You can't do both.
You have some people in the industry that become physically ill or have, even killed themselves over it.
Sadly, there was a chef, Bernard Oiseau, that took his own life. I don't believe that had everything to do with Michelin, but it was all around the same time.
Some chefs give them back in an effort to create a sort of more sane lifestyle for themselves where they're like, you know what, my life would be better if I wasn't worried about this.
for certain people, like maybe that have been doing it for a long time, it's like, hey, we just don't want to have to execute at that level every day. We want. I mean, I can't speak for them, but I'm sure at some point it's just a lot of pressure.
The thing is that people forget, right, is this all sounds very sort of business-like and transactional, but when you have this honor that is on the one hand so secretive, but yet so culturally important or historically has been, you often forget that you're dealing with real people and real people's emotions and real people's lives and careers.
I think the big thing is, like, are you ready for a star? And can you manage that? And if you can, I think a star is a beautiful thing. If you can't, I almost think it's better not to have one.
I think any chef that's working towards that Michelin star should also make peace with the fact that that star may never come.
Everyone has a different definition of success.
And are they able to find validation and find satisfaction and find pride in their work without Michelin?
No di riuscire a portare la pizzeria ai livelli di un ristorante stellato, di riuscirti a stressare. Le persone non vogliono essere stressate, le persone vogliono stare bene. Manuela is the best. Manuela number one. Io voglio che loro all'interno del mio locale vivino tranquilli.
Pizza, it's fun, it's sharing, it's communal.
It's a beloved cuisine.
Pizza is like food of the world.
I mean, it literally is. You could go anywhere in the world. You may not be able to find the bathroom, but you say the word pizza and they know what you're looking for.
People are more obsessed with pizza than dining at a white tablecloth restaurant.
We want delicious food, but we don't necessarily want to be concerned that we have to be on our best behavior or I don't know how to use the seventh fork.
Quando vengono da noi vogliono stare bene e se noi li pressiamo non li facciamo più stare bene.
There are no requirements for enjoying pizza. It's really one of the only foods that has such wide availability and wide appeal, flexibility, customizability, portability. It's sort of the catch-all food.
Anche se è un prodotto semplice, popolare, ma allo stesso momento diventa un qualcosa di complesso.
Pizzerias are a part of their communities in a way that other restaurants aren't.
Sono arrivate tante proposte da tutto il mondo e loro mi hanno detto dai, apriamo fuori, si fanno più soldi per aprire altri locali in giro per il mondo. Io ho detto no, per me la mia missione è lì al quartiere di Sanita. A loro gli ho detto fuck you.
If you're a pizzeria and you're a slice shop, you meet the kids when they're little babies, and then they start coming in when they're teenagers on their own, and then you see them go to college. Also because the pizza makers are at the front counter. It's not like a back kitchen doing something mysterious. The person making your food is making eye contact with you. So there's just an emotional connection with these people.
Attraverso la pizza sospesa rilascio una pizza per la persona altrui e noi andiamo a donarla a persone disagiate che non si possono permettere.
Ciro's Pizzeria has been doing this pizza soppressa. Somebody needs a slice, they don't have money, they come in, grab a sticky note, hand it to you, somebody's already paid for it. Totally awesome idea.
Di vedere queste persone nell'estrema difficoltà e di dargli un semplice prodotto di acqua, sale, farina e lievito, pomodoro, mozzarella, olio e basilico. Quando vado a casa mi sento meglio. Significa che sto facendo qualcosa di buono.
Né bene e né male. Questo è vivere con loro.
Il ricordo di questo pizzaiolo della Sanità, di quello che è riuscito a fare per quel quartiere. Quella è la mia vera felicità, il mio scopo sono loro.
I think it makes a ton of sense to give a pizzeria a Michelin star, but I don't think that the pizzeria community is waiting for it. I think most pizza makers are more gratified by serving pizza to people who tell them, this is the pizza that reminds me of my childhood. This is the best pizza I've ever eaten. I love this pizza. I come here every Friday night. But when a pizzeria gets a big review, then more people will go to it because it's an oddity. It's a pizzeria that gets this kind of recognition, well, I gotta check it out.
That kind of attention can bring positive attention to the people working at the restaurant, the chef, and even sometimes the neighborhood.
Food is the center of tourism.
If there is a Michelin starred pizza place, would I be there? Yeah, I would probably travel specifically to go there.
If one pizzeria on the planet were to receive a Michelin star, it would be in or around Naples.
Questo obiettivo da raggiungere non è soltanto mio, ma è di tutte le pizzerie e di tutte le persone e di tutti i ristoratori che vivono in questa città, per portare più gente all'interno del nostro quartiere e di portare più gente, più turisti all'interno della nostra città di Napoli, che per tanti anni ha sofferto di turismo. Sarebbe un qualcosa di davvero importante per questa città.
I am from Capri, one of the most beautiful places in the world. But this is the most unbelievable food I have had in my life. Buonissimo. Unbelievable. Thank you, thank you.
Just because Michelin hasn't evaluated or starred a restaurant of a specific cuisine, it doesn't mean that there's not a restaurant that represents the pinnacle of what that cuisine can be. It means that Michelin isn't comfortable enough with these other cuisines to even go about evaluating them.
They don't want to dive into the deep end because if they do, it completely changes the brand.
If I were running the Michelin guide and making recommendations and giving people stars, pizzerias are totally valid for it.
There's just no reason why a major culinary achievement shouldn't have a place in that guide.
At the same time, they seem downright obstinate about not putting people on the list that publications continue to decry. Why is this place not on the list? Every year, why is this place not on the list? They seem hell-bent on not answering the critics by doing that.
But you can feel that something's coming.
Pizza is more eligible than anything else.
And, you know, I think Michelin knows they make a splash when they finally give a pizza joint a Michelin star.
I think it's 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Probably that we have a first pizzeria.
The idea that this very much peasant food has become so artisanal and appreciated for quality is a really remarkable shift and so indicative of the changing culture of food in the early 21st century.
Well, so then let me be blunt. Do you think that pizza is a cuisine that could rise to the level of a Michelin star? To answer your question, you know, we have no quota. Talking about the case of Pizzeria, let's say from a Michelin Guide perspective, to award a star, it has to be quite outstanding. You know, very high quality products, you need to know where they come from. At the end of the day, you need to work with your local producer to establish a closed network. And all that is also part of the sustainability topic. And that's also one of the game changers in the industry. Because in food, it really comes together with quality. So what is really interesting over there? We have seen people in Italy also, let's say, engaged to move the pizza to the next level. And step by step, they are much more careful to source the quality of the ingredient. They are adding much more creativity, and we see that some chefs, we think that they are pushing to the next level. And when we consider, 5 criteria, les produits, la maîtrise des techniques de cuisson, l'harmonie des saveurs, la personnalité du chef qui s'exprime dans l'assiette, et aussi la régularité dans le temps. It's always a why not.
Stella no. Dobbiamo aspettare. Se scoppia una metoda, come si dice? Una meteorite, arriva la stella da Concettina e Tre Santi.
Mondo però.
Ci arriverà.
Per me la pizza è importante perché è un piatto semplice, un piatto per tutti, per le tasche di tutti, ma allo stesso momento diventa un qualcosa di complesso, perché in questo prodotto semplice riesce ad esprimere tutto, riesce riesce ad esprimere anima, perché la pizza è anima.
A Michelin Star. I don't think that that's a target for most pizza makers. I don't think that they crave it because I don't think they expect it's possible.
Io però ci ho creduto, ci credo in me stesso, ci credo alla mia figura dell'arte del pizzaiolo che voglio riuscire a portare avanti. Queste stelle dal cielo arriveranno anche nelle nostre pizzerie.
In the case of pizza, nothing is impossible.
Sì, potrebbe arrivare da noi la stella Michelin. Lo lasciamo decidere loro.
Entre les doigts, je te glisse entre les doigts, je te glisse entre les doigts, je te glisse entre les doigts.